Welcome, welcome, everyone. Can see all the people trickling in. 150, 40, 150. Feel free to drop us a line in the chat. We have over 1,000 people, actually more than 1,000 people registered today, so we could have a pretty big turnout. Really excited to see all of you. If you're new, let us know. If it's your first time, if you've been before, love to hear from you too. It's always great to see new and familiar faces, or I guess it's just say names. I'm always seeing names I recognize. I don't see your faces that often. Sorry. I have seen some of you on social media though, so that's good. Edwin, good to see you back from California. Oh, it's coming. The floodgates are opening. This is great. Saw someone say, "Hi, Oliver," first time and then disappear. Dude, whoever you were, thank you. I'm glad you're here. Let me see. Okay, Tracy says, first time. Thank you for doing this. You're most welcome. E. Howdy from Texas again. Great. E. Bradley. John Finch, first time. Welcome. Greetings from Hilton Head Island, where I'm hiding from a Michigan winter. I don't blame you there. I'm trying to hide in Texas here, and it's freezing outside, 16 degrees. I'm like, ah. Ramona and I were just talking about that, weren't we? Just this crazy weather we're having. It's just nuts.
Exactly. You get summer one day and you get Arctic the next.
Yeah, the next day, yeah, it's like flip flop back and forth. Well, yep. We have Hathaway says needed this so badly. Been having trouble for months with my writing. Well, great. We're excited to have you here and excited to help you out with that. Excellent, man. So many people from all over the world. It's great to see such a great turnout. Rodrigo, welcome from Chile, and Maria from Greece. Great. First timer, Paulette, welcome. Keisha, welcome from White Plains. We'll give
Wow.
everyone a few more minutes to get in here before we get started here. We want to make sure everyone has enough time to get that email. You know, sometimes it takes, you forget about it and you check your email like, oh, it's here it is. Looks like I got someone, Jim from Meridian, Idaho. I'm originally from Idaho, so welcome. Always happy to see a fellow Idahoan here. Oh, Boise too. Boise, Idaho. Welcome, Mary. Portland, Oregon, British Columbia, 40 degrees. Is it 40 degrees in British Columbia, or is that going to be because that's warmer than it is here? If that's the case, I'm surprised. That's cool. Everyone tells me Canada is really cold, so I've never actually been, so I can't say.
I saw Prague, Netherlands,
Prague, Netherlands, go ahead.
Guatemala,
Oh wow, Guatemala,
Jamaica. Yeah, a lot of people.
Jamaica. Wow, this is great. I see someone. Oh yeah, Prague right there. Yeah,
Hmm.
sure enough. Yep, Chicago, Maryland, Nova Scotia, the big island of Hawaii. Aloha, Don. Welcome. This is great, guys. First time from Michael. Michael, welcome. First time. Chris, first time from Virginia Beach. Excellent. Wow, we got a lot of new people. I've seen some familiar names here too. Oh, excellent. So looking forward to this webinar. I've been having trouble getting back to my routine. I know that feeling. I know that feeling, Glenn. Even me, I have a pretty solid routine, and occasionally life throws curveballs at us, and I feel I lose my footing, right? But the good news is, if you have a good routine in place, it's pretty easy to get back on board and get back on track. Hello from Canada, strong and free. Great. Oh, Portugal. I see someone from Portugal. That's excellent. Oh man. Well, it just keeps on coming. Great. Welcome, everyone. Well, I think, we're about 5 minutes after the hour. I think we should go ahead and probably get started here. Make sure that everyone's ready to go. Let me pull up my notes and make sure I haven't forgotten anything before we kick things off. Oh, maybe before we run through this, I'll ask you guys a question just to give everyone just a couple more minutes to get in here. Do you have a writing routine? And if so, what does it look like? And, just shout out in the chat. Let me know. What does it look like? Ramona, what do you have a writing routine? What works for you? I'm just curious.
I am a pantser, so not exactly. I try to at least set like 30 minutes aside and at least I have some dedicated time and then just practice flexing
Mhm.
my muscle and doing what I can in that time frame. Because like you said,
That's
life gets busy, so I try to squeeze it in somehow.
That's good. Ironically, I'm a very like detailed planning or organized person, but I actually consider myself a pantser too. I rarely have like thought through my entire plan or like the book I'm working on, the outline or whatever. It's always kind of like a fluid process, but I plan my life like I would consider myself an over optimizer. So people today, if you're watching me today, you see some of the crazy stuff I'm doing. Don't feel like you have to do everything like me. I'm admittedly over the top, but yeah, it's just there's something about that. Just sitting down, and just like let me just write and see what comes out, and then I can refine and refine and refine and make that better and better and better.
Exactly.
Oh, let's look at some of these things people are saying. Man, there's so much great stuff. Total pantser, Jennifer, that's great. Diana says, I don't have a routine. In fact, I'm procrastinating. Okay, yeah, I know that feeling. In fact, that's why I have a routine because if I don't, I definitely do procrastinate. My perfectionism always says tells me like I have to be perfect. This has to be perfect before I can even get started. And I realized that about myself and I said, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. I should strive for excellence, not perfection. And so that has helped me kind of overcome that perfectionist thing. Just that's why I optimize because I always tell myself, you can improve it. You can make it a little bit better later. Just do your best right now. Oh, great. Journal multiple times a week, usually trying to change or to combine drawings with writing, 2 poems a day, write right after coffee, poetry, memoir, 1,500 words a day. Okay, interesting. That's good. Is there any of these sticking out to you, Ramona, that look interesting to you?
It's going so quickly.
I know, right? I'm just like grab one and like, okay, look at that. Um, I see Pomodoro. I can never say that technique. I love that technique. I don't call it that because I can't pronounce the name well. I literally just say, I set timers. That's what I do. I set timers. And also, I don't strictly follow what exactly that technique is. I change my timers to be whatever is consistent for me. But I love that idea. The idea that you work for a little bit, take a little break. Work for a little bit, take a break. If you really work those out well, that's an excellent way to handle to add to your routine. Definitely.
Is that the same as time blocking? Because that's another
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, I
approach,
think
right?
it's similar. Like the idea, the concept is that when you jump down to write or do whatever it is, whatever you're working on, you set a timer for let's say I think they default to like 20 25 minutes and then you take a break for 5 minutes. You
Mm,
do like 3 or 4 of those, right? Let's say 4. You do 4 sessions just like that. 25 minutes, 5 minute break. 25 minutes, 5 minute break. And then when you get to the end of their fourth session or fifth session or as the case may be, you take a longer break for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Now, it so happens that most of my routines, they have breaks between them already built in, so I don't really have to think in that way. I usually just take the dedicated time I have for it, stop, take my break, go to lunch, whatever, and then come back to my next thing, and on and on I go.
nice.
Okay. Okay. Wow, this is great. This is great stuff. Well, I think someone's giving me the pronunciation. Pomodoro, named for the tomato in Italian due to the cooking timer. Yeah, that's what I read about that. That it was based off. It was invented with the tomato timer, which is probably where that all thing came from. I'll have to practice that. Thank you. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get the ball rolling because we got a lot of good content today, and I don't want to waste any time. I want to make sure we have time for everything, and we'll see. We'll definitely look at that. If you have questions, things one thing I'll ask you to do, throw the questions in the Q&A because that'll make it really easy for Ramona and I at the end to go through those questions one by one and kind of answer those to the best of our ability. Okay. So my share button has disappeared. Let me find that again. There it is. And we'll get started right here. Okay. So welcome everyone. This is the final event for our February Scrivener webinar series brought to you by the creative minds of Scrivener and Scapple, Literature and Latte, and the nation's leading self-publishing company, BookBaby. I'm Oliver Evensen, your host today, bringing you insights drawn from over 15 years of writing and Scrivener expertise. Now, whether you're a seasoned author or you're just starting your writing adventure, our webinars are designed with your needs in mind. Today, we'll be exploring building a writing routine that works, tools and techniques for consistency. And remember, I'll have a member of our support team standing by to handle any technical issues you may have and to answer your questions throughout the session. If you encounter any issues, please let us know in the Q&A or the chat. And for those who wish to revisit today's session or share it with your fellow writers, the webinar will be recorded. You can find the replay on my YouTube channel tomorrow and enjoy it ad-free next week in the Literature and Latte webinar library, as well as the BookBabies YouTube channel as well. So look out for that. Here we go. And as far as links goes, I'll be sure to get those to you at the end. Now let's start by reviewing the schedule for today's session. First, I'll introduce myself and jump straight into my training, building a writing routine that actually works. And once my training is complete, I'll hand things over to my incredible co host, Ramona, who will lead you through her presentation on how Book Babies helps indie authors. After Ramona wraps up, I'll conclude with a list of powerful resources to help you enhance your writing, master Scrivener, and refine your publishing skills. We'll also reserve plenty of time for a Q&A session at the end where Ramona and I will do our best to address as many of your questions as possible. Let's dive right in. Now, my name is Oliver Evensen. I'm a writer, editor, mentor with 15 years of Scrivener and writing expertise. And I am so excited to teach you what I have learned in my position as the outreach specialist for Literature and Latte, the creators of Scrivener and Scapple. Now, I absolutely love connecting with other like-minded writers. If you'd like to connect with me, please send me an email. I love getting your emails. I love reading and learning about what your problems are and how I can better help you solve them. Or better yet, you can join my insider newsletter, which I frequently send out valuable tips and techniques to help you become a better writer, author, and all subscribers will receive a free copy of my Scrivener starter novel template. So check that out right there. And if you'd like to see what I'm working on in Scrivener, you can subscribe to my author website at oliverevensen.substack.com or use that QR code right there on the screen. Okay, moving right along. Let's dive right into the training with step 1, creating your writing routine. Now, the first thing when you're starting out, the most important thing to remember is to keep it simple. Avoid overcomplicating or overwhelming yourself, especially at the beginning. It's so critical. And that's not to say your routine shouldn't push you. It absolutely should, but it shouldn't be so difficult to start out that you're actually dreading it, that you hate, you don't look forward to it, right? Now, the goal is to feel motivated and eager to get started. That's why simplicity is key early on. Now, just as you wouldn't walk into the gym and train like an Olympic athlete on day one, right? The same principle applies to building your writing routine. Start small, stay consistent, and then kind of build from there, right? Now, next up, you need to gather key writing tools that are going to help you. It's all about finding the right tools that can really transform your creative flow. If you're working on the go, a laptop and a solid app like Scrivener could be your go-to. Prefer a more hands-on feel? Grab a notebook or a pen. It's grounding and keeps you connected to your work. Personally, I use a combination of both. I have a notebook. Let me even show you. I got it right here in my pocket. Take this with me everywhere I go. Just a little itty bitty notebook, pen here, write all my notes and ideas in here, and oftentimes I'll transcribe those directly into Scrivener. And don't worry, your process will evolve over time. So don't be afraid to experiment, try different tools, try new things, see what works for you. Because writing is a journey. Find the tools that really keep you in the zone. Now, next up, I call this ditch motivation and invite the muse. I am not a fan of motivation. I think it's good to feel motivated, but I don't think we should allow motivation to dictate whether we get our writing done. Because let's face it, there are days when you just don't feel like writing. And that's where a routine or a system comes in to save the day. Because inspiration is fleeting, but a consistent routine can keep you on track. When motivation seems to be lacking, your routine should help you invite the muse. You see, I don't wait to get excited. I find ways to excite myself. I build it right into my routine. Now, you'll be surprised how often inspiration will strike during these moments of dedication. Even on days when I feel my routine falls short of inspiring me, I still sit down to write because consistency is what ultimately drives results. Now, here's what I love about my writing routine. First off, I have some pretty epic playlists that I listen to that excite me. Now, I write fantasy novels, so I'm listening to like really like instrumental music that kind of, from like The Witcher or from Lord of the Rings or, you name it, any of those things. I'm listening to those kind of songs that kind of get me into the zone and make me want to write about fantasy. It's going to be different for you. Find music that inspires you, that fuels your creativity and keeps you energized. Next up, I also make sure I have a light snack for breaks. And so this is kind of like my little reward. I reward myself for taking breaks because I'll be honest, I don't always like taking my breaks. When I get started, I'm like, I want to keep going. I don't want to stop. So I grab a snack. Usually it's like some carrots or celery with some ranch or peanut butter. I put them on the side of my desk here and I just, every break, I eat a couple and I'm good to go. Now, I also have, inevitably I'm going to be thirsty or something. Everyone has their drink. I know the common go-to is coffee, right? But I'm more of a herbal tea kind of guy, or I grab a refreshing sparkling water. Those really help me out to keep me motivated and I enjoy making those things. And those three little things can go a long way to making the experience a lot more fun and exciting, something to look forward to, especially on the days where I'm feeling kind of like, I don't really want to be here right now. I'm struggling. Now, the final piece, we kind of already talked about this, is that timers. The final piece of my writing routine is taking breaks and timers. I set that timer for 15 to 25 to 30, whatever minutes, however minutes makes sense. And then I take my 5 to 15-minute break between sessions. And often they block out about an hour and usually do 3 20-minute sessions with about 5-minute breaks. It's about 75 minutes total. You'll see, I'll show you today exactly how I have that all broken up. But I do prefer longer sessions because once I start writing, like I said, I hate stopping. It's so hard. It's like trying to plug a dam that's burst, you know? But I will say this, breaks are essential. For one, they're good for your health, your eyes, hands, wrists, all that, your creativity, you know, you're going to be grateful you took that break because pacing yourself prevents burnout and keeps your mind sharp for your next writing session, okay? Now, to be honest, some days you just won't feel in the zone, and that's okay. If you can, write anyway. Give yourself permission to write badly because perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. And if you're really feeling burnt out, then just take a real break. You know, let yourself get bored. Go for a walk. Do something that just lets you kind of chill out and get away from it all. Because sometimes that's what you need. You just need an honest to God break. Okay. Let's move on to step number 2, schedule and commit. Okay. Now, a thriving writing routine needs commitment. Don't just say, I'll write when I have time. Make sure that you're making time. So treat your writing like an important appointment and block it out on your calendar, whether it's in the mornings, during your lunch break, or late at nights. Just pick a time and stick to it. And I'll show you how I kind of got that set up in my own calendar. Consistency really turns habits into lifestyles. It becomes a part of you, of what you do every day. Okay. So what I do, tips for success. First off, I set a schedule. I anchor my routine by dedicating a specific time to write daily or weekly or whatever makes sense to you. Wherever you have that time, find a consistent time that you know you can show up every time because momentum will build success. And ideally, if you can, you want a habit stack. And what that means is attach your writing routine to an existing habit, something you're already doing every day. Because if you do that, it just makes it so much easier to just use that existing habit to keep that habit going because you already have a good habit in place. That could be like after you drinking your morning coffee or maybe post workout or whatever it is you do every day. For example, I typically take my kids to the gym every morning, and so when I go to the gym. As soon as I'm done, I jump right into that routine. Okay. Start small. Even a single 10 to 20-minute session a day counts. Small steps build consistency. Biggest mistake most people make with any new habit, anything they're trying to do, is they try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. Doesn't work. Start small, do something you can build and do consistently every day. Now, adapt your routine to your life. Your routine should fit into your current season. Make sure it works around other priorities like your family, your current job, or your studies. Flexibility is going to be key here, okay? Utilize a calendar, whether it's a digital calendar or a physical planner if you're more analog. Make sure you schedule it. Having it set in stone with reminders not only makes it feel official, but also keeps you accountable. And it's also great because this is typically what happens in real life, right? People will come and try to get your time. They'll friends, family, whoever else will try to call you and say, hey, can you do this with me? Can you do that with me? Hey, I need you to do this. If you set it in your schedule, it's so much easier to say, I'm so sorry. I'd love to help you with that. I could do it at this time, but at this time I actually have something scheduled. You don't even have to tell them what it is. Just say, I have an important appointment at this time. That way, if anyone questions you, you can easily say, here it is. It's right here in my schedule. Okay. And as writers, we often think what got us here will get us there, but growth and optimization is everything. There's always going to be more to learn, and the key is to keep refining your process, find your most productive times, tweak your routine, and adapt as life changes. If you slip up or start late, don't beat yourself up. Even I do from time to time. I don't always get it started on time, but just adjust and keep moving. Sometimes what those really are, when things aren't working out, that's really a signal to say, hey, this isn't working. So maybe I need to try something different. I need to try something new. I need to optimize this or change a time or change the system or change the routine in a way that it'll work better. Okay. So writing, once again, is a journey. And with the right mindset, you'll keep leveling up. Just remember to keep showing up even on the hard days. A little progress every day will keep that momentum going and proves that you are, in fact, serious about your craft. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the routine I've developed for myself and how I optimize and update this routine as my knowledge and skills grow over time. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to get started. Okay, so as an avid Scrivener user, which we're going to talk about, that's my third step. We're going to talk about supercharging this routine with Scrivener. I use Scrivener for almost everything. Not going to lie. It's just such a powerful tool. I use it for everything. In fact, I have many projects, books, and also even, you can see routines and systems that I have built into Scrivener. Right here, you can see right there is my instant productivity systems project. And it's literally, that's where I keep all my routines, all my systems. And you don't have to go crazy like me. I try to break down everything I do and be the most efficient and I can. Now that's a bit wild, I know. But for now, we're going to focus on just my writing routine, how that looks, okay? Boom, pops up right there. This is my ultimate writing system or my ultimate writing routine, and we can kind of see how this is broken up already. So you can see right here, I have a little writing prep section for 10 minutes. And this allows me to set myself up for success by creating that ideal or perfect writing environment. So I do a quick tidy of my desk. And one thing I love about this, since I've been doing this pretty consistently, my desk stays cleaner, right? And so I don't have that reason to be like, oh, my desk isn't clean. Let me tidy that up. And so every day I do this, my desk is a little cleaner, and it kind of keeps the momentum going. I turn off distractions. I silence my phone, notifications, turn off do not disturb, or I have like a special writing focus. If you can see that right here. Yeah. Right there. I have a writing focus I can switch on and turn on my computer that goes across all my devices and blocks everyone out except for the people who like absolutely need to get in touch with me. I grab my drink or my snack like I talked about. You know, I even have it like my sparkling water, herbal tea, whatever it is. I know what my snack is, typically my carrots. So no, I didn't list that there, although I probably could. I turn on my writing music, connect my headphones, I select one of my writing playlists, and I click play. And then at that point, once everything's, I'm kind of like in the zone, I'm kind of feeling it here, I decide what I'm working on. Okay. So I can check my writing project section below, and it'll actually tell me whether I'm working on fiction, nonfiction, or some combination of the two. So let's look at that. I'm going to scroll down here. You can see here. Okay. There you go. These are all my writing projects. Okay. And the cool thing about this, okay, now I'm going to admit, this is kind of advanced. Okay. So if you're new to Scrivener and you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry. We're going to talk about some more simpler stuff in a bit. But this is something I love because what I can do here is I created little internal links that link to my projects, my books on the computer, on my Mac here. So all I have to do is click this link here and it loads up my project. Boom. There I am. And I can get started right away. So I'm ready to just jump right into work, right where I left off. In this case, I was working on this chapter right here, the Scab Butcher. You can see I've got some stuff. I was working on beat 3 of this scene. And yeah, I'd be ready to go right away. I could set my timer, if my timer's set, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start getting work. And once I'm done with that project, I can close that out. See if I decide to switch projects, which sometimes happens, I could easily come down to my nonfiction section here, select one of my nonfiction projects, Inkwell, for example. Look at my upcoming articles I'm working on, things like that. I could even have my little key resources here. This is my writer's toolbox where I keep all my tools and things I've been learning about writing and how I can improve my writing process and so on and so forth, both for nonfiction and fiction here. I keep those there and I can pull those out and look at them, review them, and see how I can apply them to my writing. And so what these are, let me just kind of break this out in case you're curious. If I right click this and I edit this link, you can see what it is. It's just a file link to the file on my computer. So it's actually quite simple. All I did was I went to my Finder window here, in case you're curious. Like I said, this is kind of above and beyond. I went to Dropbox. I went to apps. I found my Scrivener projects here. It looks like, actually, you know what? This one right here. And I just dragged and dropped the Otter and the Amulet right there. Okay, boom, right into that thing. Like so, and that created that link. Okay, now we're going to cancel that out because I already had a link there. Okay, and that created that link, and I can right click it if I want to actually create a link like from scratch. I could right click anything, and I could go to where is it? Sorry, it's been a minute since there it is. Link to document. I could do new link, or I could link to something in Scrivener, or I could do a new link like this. It'll take me. Actually, no. I think it's Command K. Give me a second, guys. Okay, there we go. Yes, I can go to add link, edit add link, and it'll give me that option to add a website, a file, an email, whatever I want into that option right there. Okay, like I said, That's a little bit advanced. So don't feel like you have to do that. I guess this whole system I've created is something that works for me. So you want to keep it simple in the beginning. This is just something that you can do. I'm going to show you what's possible in Scrivener. Now, once I start writing here, you can see the keys to writing is consistency. I remind myself that every time I see it. I set my timer for 20 to 25 minutes. I write without stopping, focus, right till that timer buzzes. I take my 5-minute break. It means stretch, grab a drink of water, eat my snack, and then I rinse and repeat, right? Start it over and go again and again until my full 75 minutes is up, okay? And I also, this is also important, I spend a few minutes at the end of every day, every session, organizing my project. Just taking a minute, let's just sort through, let's rename some files, let's sort some things into folders, let's clean up my scraps folder, make sure everything looks clean and neat and tidy, and there, I'm on my way. Now, for you, this might look very different. You might not even have half as much as this. This could be like, oh, wow, this is too much for me to start out, Oliver. That's okay. Start simple. I would even recommend just grab your notebook, write down a few key things, some things that you know you can do that are really important to you, the main things, and then slowly build on that. Because I didn't do this in a day. In fact, even today, you see this section right here? I added this organize the project thing today, literally today before this session. I thought to myself, hey, you know what? I need to spend some time cleaning things up before the end of my session. I'm going to add that in. And so that's when I talk about optimizing, slowly over time, improving your routine, improving your method. And there is a point where that can be a bit too much. So don't try to overdo it. Just keep it simple, clean it up, simplify as much as possible, and then get to work. Okay. Is there anything else there? Okay, I wanted to show you my schedule too. Now, another cool thing I did is if it's not scheduled for me, it doesn't get done. So typically, I add things to my calendar. I just use the Apple Calendar. You can use any calendar you want here. And so you can look right here. Here is my ultimate writing system. And inside of that, I have a link to my project. Okay. And I can click that link. It'll open up my project right away. If that's something you want to do, you can. It's not too hard. You literally just go here, right click, click copy document link like so. And then I can paste that link anywhere I want to in my calendar. I could add an event like I did. In this case, I added the Ultimate Writing System event that I do every day from, actually, not every day. Let's see here. Typically, I do Monday through Thursday, right? And I have that right there, and I just pasted that link in the URL link there. And that means every time I look at my calendar, I can literally just come here, click that link, and it'll open up that project for me. So that's another little hack. If you're big into using calendars, especially digital calendars, and you find yourself getting distracted when you're on a device, just make it a habit of opening up your calendar and then clicking that link, or even storing it as an attachment. If you just have a Word document like this, you have a rich text file here. I could literally just have that attached there and open it right there on my computer like so. Okay, using WordPad, or in this case, TextEdit, which is what the Apple basic text editor is, the TextEdit app right there. Okay, so there's some things you can do. That's kind of how I have it set up. Just so you know, I'm kind of like, this is me like way, way down the road. When I first started doing this, I was nowhere near this. So this took a lot of time. So don't feel like, hey, I have to do it exactly like Oliver. This takes time to build. Start small, work your way up to it. Okay, we'll close that out. Okay, last but not least, we're going to switch over to, for our my last slide here. Okay. How can we supercharge a routine with Scrivener? Now I've shown you already what I've done creating the routine in Scrivener, but you could literally do that in any app. You could create it in Microsoft Word, you can create it in TextEdit, you could create it in WordPad, whatever you want to, just creating a simple routine and then putting it in your calendar like so. I just happen to have optimized mine and made it really, really powerful in Scrivener. Now, there are additional things that tools that Scrivener has that are a little bit more basic, a little bit more simple that we can use to revolutionize the way we write. So let's dive right into it. First up, we have targets and deadlines. Scrivener allows you to set draft targets and deadlines for your project. You can even enable notifications to help keep you accountable. For your daily writing goals, you can customize session targets, choosing a reset point and calculating progress based on your deadline. Now, this keeps your writing manageable and ensures you stay consistent, okay? And, it also gives me an eye on the future. So if I know when I want to have this project done, I can see how many words I need to write every day to get this project done. And if my routine is serving that goal, is the routine helping me get there, or do I need to modify that? Do I need to make some changes to make sure that I can still hit that target? Okay. Next up, we have, excuse me, document targets. Now, these allow you to break your project down even further. You can set up targets for individual documents. You can use chapter and scene templates. It's one of my favorite things to do. And take advantage of the flexibility this feature offers. Document targets are a great way to structure your work while tracking your progress at a granular level. Next up, we have status management. Now, this powerful feature allows you to stay organized. In the project settings, you can optimize your status list tailored to your specific workflow. You can then assign statuses in the outliner view and giving you a clear picture of where each piece of the puzzle goes, okay, where your project stands. Now, finally, we pull it all together with the outliner. And this is one of my favorite tools. It's often underlooked in Scrivener, but you can easily customize the outliner by adding and removing columns to display the information that matters most to you, like your status, your deadlines, or word counts. And the outliner acts as your command center, giving you an overview of your project at a glance. Okay. So with these tools, you'll be better equipped to supercharge your writing routine and tackle your writing projects with confidence. So let's take a look at how these tools work. Okay, here we're back in Scrivener. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. And we're going to focus in now on my starter novel template. Now, starter novel template is actually pretty similar to the novel template. The main thing is I've taken some time and effort and added a few extra tools in there. And I've also simplified it so you don't have to do a lot of work setting it up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click Create. And really important, you give your project a good name, something you can easily find and use again and again. Now, I'm going to call this project BookBaby. Why not? Let's do it. Put that in there. There we go. Open that up. And it's got this little activation guide or template here, document here to kind of tell you how this template works, how to get started setting it up. But let's look right now at project deadlines. So let's say I just opened up my project for the first time. I've got Project BookBaby here, and I want to set a target goal or for my entire project. How would I go about doing that? So first off, I'm going to go to Project. And I'm going to click Project, Show Project Targets right there. In this little window, it's going to pop up. And you can see right now there's nothing there. Okay. I have 0 out of 0 words, and I have 0 out of 0 session target. So what I'll do right here, I'm going to click inside this guy. I'm going to set a session target. Now, typically, I'm writing anywhere from 60 to 100,000 words. In your case, may be different depending on what type of project you're working on. Why don't we go with an even 50,000 words? And that's the target for this specific manuscript. Okay. We have our session target here. Now I can literally do the same thing. I can type in here how many words I want to hit every time I open up Scrivener. And ideally for me, around 750 is what I like to hit each day. Now this is, I work more with time than I do with word counts, but I do like to look on every day when I finish a session and say, hey, did I reach my 750 words, that kind of goal? But I'm happy so long as I'm averaging around 750 words total for as I'm working on this project. I'm typically okay with that. Some days it'll be more, some days it'll be less. It's just good to have a target, right? Now, if I wanted to get real specific with it, right, I want to know how many words I need to have left. I could actually make this automatic by setting a deadline. Let's go to options here, and let's click this little checkbox right there that says deadline right there. Perfect. Now, I don't know. It depends on, I don't know what the default is for this. It may be a little bit different here for you, but whatever the default is, you just need to change it to whatever deadline you want it to be. So let's say right now we're in February. Let's assume I want to have this done by, let's do October. Let's say I want to have it done in October, and we'll say October. I like to do mid-month rather than the end of the month. I don't know why. We'll just do the 15th, and we do want to make sure we get the right year. So it is 2025, right? There we go, 2025. I can turn on show target notifications. That'll let me know when I reach my goals and how close I'm getting. I could turn on overrun, which tells me if I've gone over, but I'm not going to worry about that. It's kind of an extra step I don't need. And then the next thing I'll do, once I have my deadline set, okay, I do also need to set to automatically calculate from draft deadline, okay? So we're going to click that button there. That's what will make my session targets automatic, so I don't have to think about it. It'll just tell me, hey, you have this many days left, and this is how many words you need to write to meet your deadline. If I just click that box and I don't touch anything, it's going to assume that I'm writing every day. So let's look at that. I'm going to go ahead and actually allow writing on the day of the deadline too, okay? You can turn that off or on if you don't want to write on the day of the deadline. If you want to be done that day, it's up to you. But we'll go ahead and click on the day of the deadline. We'll click OK. And there we go. If I write every day, I have 236 days left. Right? Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. I have a long time left, right? And that means I only have to write 211 words a day to reach my goal. That's not bad, right? It's pretty short. In fact, I could easily write more than that. So what this makes me think is like, hey, should I maybe up that? Maybe I should change that a little bit. Or maybe I can't write every day. Maybe I can only write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is pretty typical for me. So that gives me 135 days. So I only have to write 370 words, right? So actually, that still looks pretty reasonable for me. I'm looking around 750. So I could even adjust this. You know, I could uh, move my deadlines closer up. Let's say I want to be done in May instead. Let's see how many days. Okay, May's a bit too soon for me. I'm looking for that 750. Let's do July. See what we're looking at. 609. Okay, 609 July. I could probably do. Let's do June. See, yeah, there we go. So June is looking like a pretty good goal for me. In fact, that 769, that little extra push might be a little bit of a challenge for me, and it might be worth pursuing, right? Working towards that. And that's going to be based on how many words this target you're set here, okay? And how many days you chose that you're writing. In this case, I'm writing Monday through Thursday. If I adjust this, I have less time to reach that goal. So just be aware of that. Okay. We'll click OK. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so that is our draft targets. Let's talk about document targets. Now, cool thing about this template is that my document targets are already set up for me in my chapter template here. So let's look at that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. There's the scene. You can see it has a target of 750 words. Now, that's just a target for me. I don't anticipate my scene will be 750 words. It's typically, I'd say on average between 750 to 1500. So I just kind of chose those two random targets. You could change that to be whatever you want to be. Let's look at that. I'm going to hit return and create a new blank document here. Okay, by hitting return, you can also click the plus button down here in the bottom left corner or this plus button right here to create a new text or new folder. Okay, in this case, this one does not have a target set up. I could click that target button right there and set one. And this is just for this document. Okay, so I'll set it as, let's just do 1500 words. I could even set a minimum target, maybe that 750, right? Probably end up somewhere in the middle there. Oops, accidentally exited out of that. You can see it turns into a progress bar in the bottom right corner here. I can double click that again. And I can even add that over an allowance. I can even show target notifications. It allows me to know when I get there. And there we go. The over an allowance just means that I'm allowing myself to go over my 1500 words. Okay. Click OK. There we go. So now we have that here. And I'll just go ahead and copy and paste this down here like so. Copy, paste, and change that to 1500. Okay. And what I can do then is I can come up here to my series title here. We'll call this the Phantom Lord Saga. Why not? Phantom Lord Saga. And inside of that, I have book 1. Okay. And inside of that, I have act 1. And inside of that, I have a chapter template already there. Go ahead and add a new chapter template just like this. Boom. And the beauty of this is those targets are already set up for me. So as I start writing, you can see it starts to go up here, and you can't really see it there because the target's pretty small. It starts to go up there too. Oh, let's see if I can get more words here quicker. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, there it goes. It's changing colors. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Now, it didn't notify me, and that's simply because I have notifications turned off while I'm in a webinar, so I don't get anything coming in. But normally, a little pop-up would come up here and say, hey, you've reached your target. Great. And you can see that there. If I show overrun, it'll show as a little red bar there how far over I've gone, right? If I keep going way, way over, that's what it'll look like. Okay. So that's how that works. Kind of handy, and it's really useful in our outliner when we're looking at that. We'll look at that in just a second. Okay, perfect. There are a lot of great uses to that. I love being able to look at a specific, at an act, for example, and see how many words I anticipate the act will be, how many, kind of giving a guesstimation. So I can do total target. And so based on this right now, if I'm looking at book 1, there are about 5,500 words I'm anticipating for act 1, right? So if I had created a bunch of different chapters in here and they all had targets, I'd be able to look at my outliner here and see all the targets and how much they would total up to even for the whole book, right? Right now it's just 500, 500, right? Because I just have the 2 chapters. If I added in another chapter template here, let's do that for example, like so. I come back up here, you see now it's up to 9,000 words. And so I could literally go through and just create a simple structure in the binder with all these templates and have an idea of what my targets will look like, how, and how close I am, just in the outliner, just like so. Okay, next up we have status, and you can see that's right here in the bottom right corner. We have this to-do option here. Cool thing about this chapter template too is I already set the status as to-do, so every time I add a new chapter, it's already set right there. You can see it says to-do. If I just created a new folder here, let me show you. Just close it up and just create a new folder like this. It has no status assigned. You have to come here and manually adjust that, right? But since I use my template, I can go ahead and already have that set up and ready to go. Okay. But you see from the status list, we have the option to do no status, to do, in progress, first draft, revised draft, final draft, done. I can even come in here, edit this, and change it to whatever I want it to be. Okay. I could add in here, I could change this to, let's just say, second draft. I can even come here and add third, fourth, fifth, however many drafts I think I'm going to do. Maybe this will change as I move from draft to draft, right? Third draft, until I finally decide, hey, this is officially the final draft, or I'm done, right? So I can come here and change those to be whatever I want them to be, just by clicking the add button, giving it a name, or the subtract button. One thing to keep in mind though, make sure you click the OK button. I can't tell you how many times I've accidentally clicked cancel or just like hit the escape button and then watch what happens. I hit the escape button and my changes were not saved. So just make sure you hit that OK button so your changes get saved. Okay, yep. You could also do something similar with the label here. Instead of using the status list, which has no color assigned to it, we could change the labels to be like to do, right? Like this, it's already there, to do. And we could do a yellow as in progress. There's a lot of different ways you could use labels. This is just one method. And we could do green as done, like so. And maybe blue as revised. And so you could create your own little system here, and I could then go ahead and just select those real quick and push the minus button to delete them and click OK. So then I can decide on this way, not use the status list at all. I could just turn that off and say, oops, and say, hey, I'm just going to use the labels here. Oh, there they are. There. And just use to do in progress. And then I have a nice visual color to go with it. I can just look at it and glance and have that color there. There are other things you can do with colors in this way. If you guys are interested, you can use the label color in your icons, and I can actually see those colors as they've been assigned, whether they've, if this one's in progress, watch this. To do changes that to red. This is in progress, changes it to yellow, revised, blue, and then green, done. That's a little nice way to do it. And you can even go a little step further and make it a little bit more apparent, like so. Lots of different things. That's view, use label color in, and then just selecting where you want those colors to appear. Okay. Well, let's see if there's anything else I want to do. Of course, you can see I'm here. I'm using my outliner here to kind of add and remove columns as needed. I can add a status back in. I could use labels for something else. And there's a lot of different options here. I can have like a total word count as well. I can see how many words I've actually written, the total target I have, and that can help me see that. I can have a total progress as well, like so. So I can see that progress bar growing in the outliner. There's a lot of fun stuff we can unpack here. And unfortunately, I just don't have time to cover it all, but hopefully this gives you a glimpse at what's possible. And of course, the good news is I've covered a lot of this material in other webinars in our webinar library. So if there's anything you're like, man, I want to know more about this, check out my YouTube channel, look and dig a little deep. You'll find some amazing resources and some amazing things and how to do everything I'm showing you today. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a wrap on my presentation. Let me pull up my notes here real quick. Okay. So that's a wrap of my training session, building a writing routine that works. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for your enthusiasm. I really appreciate you, and it's been truly inspiring working with you all. Now I'm thrilled to introduce my incredible co-host. Ramona Pina is a published author with over 15 years of experience in creative ventures. Apart from contributing multimedia works to various literary magazines, she has freelanced with several app startups, blogs, creative consultants, and e-commerce brand managers. Today, Ramona is a trusted 8-year publishing specialist veteran at BookBaby and coordinates with designers and production experts to support fellow authors in their pursuit of their publishing dreams. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Ramona Pina. Thank you so much, Ramona.
Thank you, Oliver. Hi, everybody. Let me see if I can share my screen now. All right. All right, so now I know Oliver gave you a lot of information, and it's a lot for me too. I'm kind of new to Scrivener myself. I've been tinkering around, but I feel like I learn something new every time he and I are on these webinars. And in my mind, I imagine it like the old school. You have all these index cards, and you write everything down. And it's all colorful, like as a start, and you just organize them based on your ideas. So that's how I associate Scrivener in my mind as a start. But I know there's so much more than that. So after you go through the process of using Scrivener or whatever tool that helps you with your routine to get the story out, once all of that's put together, it's like, now what? There's so much to do. Oh, let me see here. Sorry. Now I'm having, see if it'll share. Okay, there we go. Can you all see my screen? Oliver, thumbs up if you can see
Yep,
it.
we can see it. We're
All
looking
right,
good.
perfect.
Yep.
All right, good. So it's like your manuscript is complete. Now what? So you can, one, self-publish with BookBaby. We have a lot of different services. Again, you've done all this work, you've worked hard, you've tried to come up with a routine, you did your best to follow it, and your story is done. So once you're at that point, then you can work with a company like BookBaby, which is an independent publishing company that provides quality services. We provide editing, we can help distribute the book, we have in-house designers to create that beautiful cover and layout that you're looking for. We can then help you market it and advertise it as well. As you can see, professional publishing strength services for independent authors. So again, we really are here to hold your hands. And I know there was a lot of talk in the chats about AI. Scrivener, I know, is people powered, and so is BookBaby. We're meant to like really work with the people, for the people, and we are people here. So it's all a collective. So the first thing again is editing. We have a lot of great services that you can choose from. There are so many different styles, like just with Scrivener, there's different word counts for different genres. And the same is kind of true with editing. You think about what do I need for a children's book author versus, a business book or a fantasy novel or anything in between. So we have a lot of those editing services that can help you with that. Once your edits are complete, you're happy with the book, then you're going to move on to design. And again, like I was saying, you want to think about, okay, what's my genre? How am I really going to communicate my message? And like they say, everything, they judge a book by its cover. So you want to make sure that you have professional book designers in your corner that can really help bring that to life and really communicate your vision. So we can help you do that here at BookBaby once your edits are complete. And design doesn't just stop at the cover. Sometimes people think of that, and that's not where it stops. So when you're working in Scrivener, it's more about organizing your content, getting that story out. But then people say, well, how do I make it look pretty? Because, what we have down on the computer in that rough form, or even after you polish it, isn't what it looks like once it's a physical book in your hand. So we can help you with design to make sure that you have a professional looking book. And that's going to get you closer to the point where you can actually publish it, which is called distribution, and get it into the stores. And that means again, a place like BookBaby can help you. You don't have to figure out, okay, you've already written a story. That's hard enough. Now you have to figure out all these things. We can help you with that part to make it a little easier, and you can really still focus on your love and your craft. And so we can help you get your book out to all of the major retailers like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, Powell's Books, wholesalers, so that you really feel like you might be a little guy, but you're really out there competing with the big contenders. You don't have to be traditionally published. If you want to, that's great. But if you want to explore a different route, which I've seen it happen in both directions, you absolutely can here at BookBaby. And then again, after all of that work is done to create the print version, to get it out there, you can also be working to get that e-version out. I know there are a lot of tips and tricks. Again, once you get to that point, maybe that's even where you want to start, because that's a great way to really incentivize people to buy your story, to help get it out there, get opinions, get reviews. So again, a lot of great resources here at BookBaby that Oliver could also share, as well as Scrivener resources to really help you understand all the different tools and all the different options you have at your disposal. And BookBaby has been around for a very long time. I'd say almost 14 years, maybe even longer. And we have a sister company that's been around, excuse me, for almost 80 years working with independent creatives. They've been working with musicians, we work with authors, and so we really have a wealth of experience working with people who really want to bring their stories out into the world. Another option is Bookshop. Another way to distribute is a storefront we have where you can get higher royalties, a lot of great options. And after you go through all of those stages, it's out there in the stores, you can share your book with the world. You want to continue doing that. In addition to crafting more stories, writing more things, never stopping with that practice, you also want to be able to promote it. But again, it's a lot of work. And so we're here to help you lighten that load, give you those options to really promote your book. And here's just an example. You can see here, this is one of the pictures of our printer. We do a lot of great work. We work really fast to get your books out there. It's a toner base, so that means it's a digital printer. It's not like inkjet. It's a low quality. So if you want to print in color, you want beautiful, even grayscale images, what have you, black and whites, BookBaby has you covered with that. And we're certified to print really beautiful work as far as a digital printer. Like people go to Offset to print high volumes, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of books. But we can match that quality even if we're printing one at a time or 100 at a time or anything like that. So I really welcome you to go to bookbaby.com, really look into us if you haven't had a chance to do so, and see that, what your options are while you're working towards your goal in Scrivener as well. We guarantee our quality, and we're excited to work with you all. So come check us out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ramona. Really appreciate that. Let's go ahead and dive into our free resources, and then we'll jump into our Q&A here. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Here we go. Okay, so every day I'm inspired by the passion and dedication of writers honing their craft. So supporting you on your writing journey as an author and watching your growth is just such a rewarding experience. I'm so excited to be part of that process. So first off, I just want to give a huge thank you to our guests for sharing their free publishing guide with you today. That's right there on the slide there at bookbaby.com/free-publishing-guide. So check those out. They're going to be great. They're going to really help you get started. And if you're ready to get started with Scrivener, be sure to check out our 30-day free trial at literatureandlatte.com/download. It's a game changer. And that's 30 non-consecutive days, which means you can really take your time and not feel rushed. If you use it one day, you're not going to come back 30 days later and find out, oh, my trial has ended. You really get to use it one day at a time, all 30 days. Now, if you're looking for more resources and tools, I personally recommend head over to ojevensen.com/links to explore everything you need to take your writing to the next level. And if you're not already a part of the Turning Writers into Authors community, please join today by subscribing to my insider newsletter and unlock exclusive perks such as Scrivener tools, writing training, and my free starter novel template, which I showed today. Don't wait, jump right in. That's ojevensen.com/links. Let's get you guys started on your writing journey. Okay. So now is the time to open the floor for any questions you may have. Ramona and I are happy to address any concerns or confusion regarding BookBaby and their services and Scrivener and its features, as well as providing tips and advice for using it effectively in your writing. So don't be shy. Ask away. We'll look right in the Q&A and get this party started. Let's see here. Okay, Ramona, you seen anything of interest in the Q&A that for you real quick? Like, get things settled here. We got tons of questions. I saw a lot going in the chat here.
Oh, I thought I was talking, but I was
Oh,
muted. Sorry.
was-
It was saying, does BookBaby print books as part of a program with me? I don't know if that was from Linda Summersea. I'm not exactly sure if I understand as part of a program. We do create a quote for you. Every quote is custom. So whatever it is that you're looking for, we can put a package together that makes sense for what you're hoping to accomplish. If that's printing books, then yes, we can help you do that. I hope that answers the question.
Perfect. Okay, I see. Real quick, I'll just answer this one. Will we receive this recording? If you're subscribed to my newsletter, I will definitely send out an email after the event today once that's posted, that's live. I know we'll try to get that out to everyone, but if you just want to have it straight away, you can go to my YouTube channel. It'll be right there. I just posted that link for you guys. I don't know. Do you have a link for your guys' YouTube real quick, Ramona? by chance?
Let me.
I can
I
drop
can
that in
find
there.
it. I can
Yeah,
grab it. Yep.
drop that if you can drop that in too. That would be great.
Hmm.
That way, so everybody can grab that when we get those posted. Let's see.
All right. It's in the chat.
I see Frank is asking if Scrivener will be good for academic writing. Yes, in fact, a lot of our users, I mean, I guess many of our users use Scrivener for academic writing, for screenwriting, for nonfiction, for fiction, all across the board. You can see even me. I'm not just using Scrivener for books. I use it as kind of a I keep track of key projects and things I'm working on, all inside Scrivener. So it's a very versatile tool. I will say that it was designed for novel writers in mind, but it's definitely works for anyone doing any kind of writing project. To be frank, yeah. Let's see.
I see one. It was asking about the cost to publish a book at
Yeah.
BookBaby. Um, and another one I'll combine is what's my role. So I'm a senior publishing specialist here at BookBaby, and so I work with authors to help them prepare themselves for the process of publishing once their story is complete. But as far as cost, um, I know I feel like a lot of people know this, but not when you're thinking about it when there's so much information. Each book is different. So the cost to publish a book is going to depend on the book itself. There are a lot of variables. The size of the book, the page count, the paper stock, if it's in color versus not, and more. So like a children's book isn't going to cost anything like a business finance book. It's going to be two different projects. So it's best to really get a custom quote based on your project because you'll get more accurate information. So I welcome you to go to our site. You can click our pricing tool, the orange highlighted button on the site, and you can tinker around with it. Or you can call us.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Oh. Good. Okay, so you answered. Sorry, I'm looking through the questions, seeing like which
Hmm.
ones do we answer already.
Hmm.
Um, I see some people's are asking for my QR codes again. I'll if we have time, I'll try to post this again. But if not, just catch the replay because you can pause the video and then just snap a picture of it there. Yeah. So if you're looking for those, you should be able to get those. Okay, Jennifer is asking, this is a Scrivener question. How or where does Scrivener back up to? I have it. I've been using it for my YA manuscript, but I'm always nervous about where else it exists in case of emergency. Okay, Jennifer, that's a really, really great question to ask. So Scrivener exists primarily locally on your computer, okay? And it does back up automatically to a folder called the application support folder, okay? It is a folder saved locally on your computer. Now, I have done webinars on this in the past that show you how to set this up to ensure you don't lose any of your work. The truth is, in most cases, assuming your computer doesn't like totally fail on you, you're pretty well protected. Scrivener's backing up regularly, it's saving automatically, you're good to go. But I will say this, if you don't take the extra effort to like say maybe back up to an external drive or back up to a cloud sync service like Dropbox or Google Drive or iCloud or whatever, then there is a possibility if your computer dies, you could lose your writing. And so I would recommend you check out my webinar. I think I've done like 2 or 3 of them in the past. Alex, I don't know if you can troll that out, find that on my YouTube channel and send it for me and add it to the chat for us. That'd be great. If not, just use that link I gave to my YouTube channel, search for backups there, and you'll find how to set that up and how to do that. And so it's kind of one of those things. You set it up, you forget about it, and you're good to go. Let's see. Ramona, it looks like someone's asking if you help with editing and publishing multi-language editions. Do you guys handle those kind of services?
Oh, that's a great question. So we help with English and Spanish. We can provide design services for the English language as well as the Spanish. And typically, like Romance languages, we can help with design, but we only offer editing for English and Spanish.
Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know.
Mhm.
Okay. And I think, yeah, you've already answered this question. Does BookBaby print books as part of their? Wait, okay.
That
That
might
was
be
the
the
one you were
same
like,
one. Hmm.
yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and dismiss that one. So John is asking me, can you suggest a writing playlist to listen to while writing? Okay, let me tell you this right now, John. This is one of the hardest things ever to do because I have my preferences and you're going to have your preferences. I had a close friend of mine, okay, close friend of mine. She also writes fantasy. She sent me a list of her writing playlists, and to be frank, I did not like any of them. Okay. And this is nothing against her as a person. She loved that music. She liked it, got her into the zone. It just didn't vibe with me. Okay. And as frustrating as that is to hear, I'm sorry. You really kind of have to find and make your own playlist because maybe you'll be lucky you'll find someone. Maybe we happen to like the same things. Like I said, I do listen. Like I listen to the Witcher soundtrack. I mean, I don't know if you've seen that. I mean, it's not one of my most favorite shows, but I really like the music in it. It just really gets me excited. I listen to I have some old like I don't know if you've ever heard of Might and Magic. They were really old school fantasy games, and I found out how to get the playlist for those, and so I listen to those things. It kind of puts me back in that mindset when I was a kid playing those fantasy games, and it gets me excited to write books, write a fantasy novel. So I listen to those kind of things. If that vibes with you, great. Check those out. Look those things up. If it doesn't, just find music that excites you, that makes you interested. Typically, I'm looking at movies, TV shows, things that relate to what I'm writing about, and that have made me excited to write in the past. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Ramona, about
I
that.
agree with you because, I'm not a metal fan. Nothing
Yep.
against anyone who loves metal.
Nope.
But if that's what you want to listen to while you're writing your stories, please do not send me that playlist. So it's so subjective. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. Not kidding. One of my creative writing teachers, okay, and in my school, and mind you, this is actually religious school. He was a heavy metal fan, and so that's what got him into the zone. He's actually written a couple books, and I think they're great books. I enjoyed them, but yeah, it's just like, how do you listen to this stuff? He's like, I don't know, I just like it. I'm like, okay, well, what works for you is fine. Go for it. Do what works for you.
Exactly.
Totally.
Oh, there was a question I can answer. Someone was asking if BookBaby was a partisan publisher. No, we don't take sides. We're here to help you accomplish your goal, which is publishing it. The only thing that we don't accept is basically what aligns with the parameters of publishers. So no erotica or anything that's non-consensual. But apart from that, whatever your belief is, you can write about it. We're here to help you get it out there and make it look good.
Excellent,
Mhm.
excellent, excellent. Now I see someone here said, could this organizer or something like it be available as a template? So I'm guessing you're talking about my writing routine. And most certainly, I could easily create that into a template. In fact, I probably will at some point. I suppose you could literally just scrape it off of YouTube as you're watching me go through it. Um, what I would say about that though is you have to remember about a routine is it's kind of, while yes, I think the principles are there and you could probably use it, you're still going to need to tweak it to make it work for you. And you may have recalled, like, I saw some people posting, like, this looks really complicated. And, where's the art in this? There's no art. It's so mechanical. I'm like, you really got to make your own. I gave you the principles that work for me. And I do believe that, as even as mechanical as it may seem, that this will work for most people. And in fact, I think when we lean too heavily to the art side of things, we tend to lean into procrastination. And so for me, this works really well. In fact, it's all set up to get me into an art-like zone. This whole process gets me into the zone to create art, and that's what your routine should do. It should get you into the zone to create art, and that may look differently for you than it does for me. So whatever it is, write it down on a piece of paper. Maybe just start something simple. Just write it down. What you want, what you believe will get you into will invite the muse into you and help you create art. And that's good. Like I said, it's gonna be different for everyone. Okay, good. I feel like we're doing better this time, Ramona. I feel like we're
Yeah,
getting through
I
questions.
think so. I think there's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
balance here. We've covered a lot of subjects, and yeah, I think there's so much more that we could talk about, but there's not enough time. So I would say, if I don't know if you can show it again or um, send a link for them to check out all the resources, but I'd say check out Scrivener, do some additional deep diving into that, do some additional deep diving into BookBaby to learn more because there's so much more to explore and there's not enough time to answer everyone's questions. And I wish we could. So I know for BookBaby, if you go to our website, we have a phone number, we have support staff. So if you have questions, you can reach out, call people, and I'm sure Oliver has a way that you can contact him with questions as well.
Yep, yep, certainly do. Maybe
Hmm.
I'll just share that last slide real quick with everyone again. Let me pull that up. So you can see it. There we go. Maybe desktop 2. Yep. So this is, yeah. There we go. You can, any of these emails, the Scrivener/Mac, Scrivener/Win, Scrivener/Mobile, Scapple. I even have BookBabies right there, info@bookbaby.com. I pulled that directly from their website. So if you have a Scrivener related question, especially if it's a technical question, you're having a problem with Scrivener, reach out to the technical support emails here. They're happy to help you out with those questions. If you have a more writing related question, especially as it relates, how could I do this in Scrivener, reach out to me at contact@ogevensen.com. I thrive off of those kind of questions because it challenges my viewpoint, how I do things in Scrivener. I want to hear from you what problems you're having, and then I look for solutions. How can I use Scrivener to solve this creative problem, right? And that's typically how most of my process works when using Scrivener, is identifying a writing problem and then finding a way for a writing tool to solve it. Usually that's Scrivener. Sometimes it's something else, but typically that's Scrivener. And so you can reach out to any of those emails right there, and one way or the other, we'll get you taken care of. We'll get you the support and help that you need. Great. Oops. Okay, I lost the thing. Okay. Well, Ramona, I guess we want to go ahead and wrap it up here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for attending, everybody. Thanks for all those great questions you had too, and for staying with us.
Yep, appreciate it. That concludes our presentation, building a writing routine that works. Thank you, everyone. If you have any additional questions, be sure to reach out there. And I'll just say this: keep on writing, and we'll catch you all next time. See you later.